the last part of this we're going to talk about is called an amortization schedule. And the schedule will show you how much money you are paying towards interest, how much of your payment is going towards principal, which we call a reduction in your balance, and how much your balance left at the end of each payment period. So in order to construct this, what we're going to do is we're going to create a table that has these columns in it. And we're going to create a table for the payment, the number of payment or the payment number you're on, the amount of each payment, the amount of interest that is being accumulated from the previous balance, what we call a reduction, which is going to be your payment minus the interest taken off, which is also known as we can also refer to this value as the principal right here. And then the other part is the balance, and that'll always be the previous balance from the month before or from the payment before. So we generally do these type of things with either mortgages or either loans you take out on car, loans you take out for a car maybe, where you're making a monthly payment, and a certain portion of the payment is being applied to interest, and the other portion is being applied to the principal. So suppose you borrow $1,000 and agree to repay the loan in 6 equal monthly payments at 1% interest per month on the unpaid balance. Now this is different. In particular, this part where it says 1% interest per month. Because you're talking about 1% interest per month, the periodic rate is already established for us. Our periodic rate here is actually going to be 0.01. And normally when we talk about it, when we normally do these problems, we always have a rate and then some compounding period that's going to calculate our periodic rate. Well, here they're telling us we're doing it monthly. And because we're doing it monthly, our periodic rate is already established. And generally speaking, when you talk about these type of problems like this, an amortization schedule, the rate that they give you will be the periodic rate. This says construct an amortization table showing how much of each payment is used for interest, how much is used to reduce the unpaid balance, and the unpaid balance after the payment is made. So in order to start this problem, the first thing we have to do is we have to calculate the payments that are needed to reduce to actually pay off the loan. So to calculate your payments, remember the payment formula is equal to the present value times I, which is your periodic interest rate, over 1 minus 1 plus I raised to the negative n. Well, here, your payment is going to be equal to the present value of your money, which in this case is $1,000, times I, which is 0.01, over 1 minus 1 plus 0.01, raised to the negative 6. And when I calculate this, it's going to give me my actual payment amount. So I'll calculate this part first. So it's 1 plus 0.01, which is 1.01. I'll raise it to negative 6 power. I get 0.942045253. Now take that value and subtract 1 from it. When I do that, I get 0.057954767. I'm going to take that value, and on the top, I'm going to do 0.01 divided by that number. I get 0.17254836667. I'm going to multiply that by 1,000. And here I get a payment of $172.55 when I round off my money. So for my payments, I am making a $172.55 payment every month. And so when I do that, the first thing I'm going to do is in this column right here where it says payments, right? The payment number on 0, you're going to leave that one blank. And here you're going to go 172.55 for all of these values because that's what you're paying every month. That value is not going to change unless you decide to put more down, which right now we're assuming you're not. You're just paying the regular price. And in this first row, we know that our balance is starting off at $8,000. That's where our balance is started off. So here's how this works. We're going to calculate how much interest is paid on the balance. And the interest is going to be applied to the payment. So we take the previous balance and we multiply it by our I. Well, we know our I is 0.01. So when I multiply 1,000 by my I, and remember, I again is equal to 0.01. So I multiply 1,000 by 0.01, I get $10. So in the first month, that $10 represents how much interest you're being paid, or that you're paying on your actual payment. Whatever is not interest, the rest is going to be the reduction, or what we call our principal. So we're going to subtract the interest from the payment. And when I subtract 172.55 minus 10, I get 162.55. This 162.55 is the actual value that's being applied to your balance. So we're going to take this principal, which we'll call the reduction R, and we're going to apply it to our balance. So your new balance will be the previous balance, which we'll call, all right, is previous B minus the reduction R. So in this case, it'll be 1,000 minus 162.55. And my new balance is 837.45. And so what I do now is I repeat the process. I'm going to take the periodic interest rate, this 0.01, and multiply it by my new balance here. So I'll do 0.01 times 837.45, and I get $8.37 here. So my interest being applied here is $8.37. And again, I'm going to subtract this interest rate from my payment to get my reduction. So I'll do 172.55 minus 8.37. And there I get 164.18. So I'm applying $164.18 to the previous balance here. So when I do that, I'll do 837.45 minus the new reduction, 164.18, and I get 672.97 there. And I'll do it again. So I'll take the interest rate I, and I'll multiply it by this 672.97. And there I get 6.73. So $6.73 there is being applied to the new interest being applied. And we'll subtract that from the payment. So it's 172.55 minus 6.73. And here I'm going to be paying, or getting in principal, 165.82. Notice that as you're paying down as you keep paying, your interest is going down and your principal is starting to increase. We're going to take this principal that we have here and apply it to our previous balance here. So we'll do 672.97 minus 165.82. And I get $506.85 there. And again, we'll keep repeating this process. So I'll do 0.01 times that 506.85, and I get $5.07 there. And I'll subtract 172.55 minus $5.07, and I get 167.48 for the new reduction. So I'm going to apply 167.48 to the previous balance. And there I'm going to get $339.34. Again, I'll multiply that by 0.01, and I get $3.39 here. And I'll subtract that from the 172.55, and I get $169.16 here in the principal. And I'll subtract that from 339.34 minus 169.16, and my new balance is 170.18. And again, I'll multiply that times 0.01 for the final payment. $1.70 is how much I'm paying in interest. And I'll apply that to the payment of 172.55 minus $1.70, I'll get $1.70 and I'll get 170 and 85 cents in the principal. And I'll subtract that from what I have a previous or the previous balance. And so when we get that, we get minus 170.85. I get a negative 67 cents. And what that means is it's negative like this because I've had round off error. But if you were to calculate this now, you can actually calculate and see how much you're paying in your interest. So look, if you look at your total payments, if I do 172.55 times 6, I get $135. I get $1,035.30. If I want to know how much I'm paying in interest, if you add up all these values here, 10 plus 8.37 plus 6.73 plus 5.07 plus 3.39 plus 1.70, you get $35.26, which is about the $35.30. Again, we have round off error. That's why we get that number there. But this is $35.26, which if you look here, you notice you were supposed to pay $1,000 on a loan. You've actually paid an additional $35.30. That's coming from your interest here. And then if you look at your reductions, if you add up all your reductions, they should add up to the actual $1,000 that you paid for, right? So this is what we call an amortization. This is making a schedule for it. And again, amortization is just taking the present value, finding your payments, and seeing how much of the payment is applied to interest and how much of the payment is applied to reduction in principal.